Hi, I'm Carcino.
Oh, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
No one knows Farsino and none of these.
There's so much going on in the world, and I'm just giving my 2 cents on it. Go in and do a raid at someone's house, but you don't have an arrest warrant for them. The National Basketball Association, the NBA. They have me almost ashamed. To even say I watch this sport, I love this sport, or anything of that nature. Um, it has been a travesty watching these NBA playoffs this year. I enjoyed last year's probably more than this year, and that's sad. Even though the viewership is up, we've been giving them crap to watch. We've been giving them complete and utter crap. And I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed for the game. I mean, if they think this is what basketball is, oh, it is. They're so wrong. Adam Silver Slipper, David Stern would be kicking your ass all up and down the street. You hear me? All up and down the street. The OKC Spurs, the most predictable series in the history of mankind. From the before it even started, we said 7 games, OKC. We knew what they were going to do. Every win and loss has been completely manipulated by the NBA. OKC didn't have a chance tonight. They didn't even get a fair chance tonight. San Antonio, the last game, you knew OKC was going to win that game. They weren't going to get a shot to win that game. And we've gotten so far off the mark. People can't even tell where did it all start, where did it end, where did it go wrong. They don't even know. That's how bad it's gotten. People was like, I don't remember where did it start to go off the rails. Do anybody remember? Because I'm having a hard time adjusting to trying to find out what happened. What happened to this league? Well, Adam Silver happened. All these millennials and Gen Zs, they got involved and they helped manipulate and tear down this league. And we have a very weak ass commissioner who doesn't understand this sport. He does not understand basketball. He understands business. And that's the problem. David Stern could do both. He knew basketball and he knew business. Adam Silver was a guy who ran charity foundations. That was his strength. His strength was charities. Oh, you want to run a charity foundation for this person and that person? Oh, we got you. Oh, you want to run a charity foundation for these people? Oh, we got you. Oh, NBA cares. That's him. That was his dedication and role to the NBA. He's a charity guy. He's not the kind of guy that's going to make the sacrificial play. He's not the guy that's going to be able to sit there in a room of men and make a testosterone decision. He's bringing a lot of estrogen to the party, and it's ruined the game. Did you hear what they're voting on tomorrow? Let's go over that while we're here, ladies and gentlemen. He's finalizing the lottery reform. Okay? The lottery reform. How stupid is this? You were fixing things that weren't broken to introduce things that are completely broken. And that's gonna aggravate me. Now, what he wants to do is expand the lottery and says, oh, this is gonna go to 16 teams now. Lottery balls. The bottom three teams are just gonna have two balls, and the teams 4 through 10 are gonna have three, and the play-in teams are gonna have 1 to 2 balls. Teams can't win number one picks in consecutive years. So the bottom three teams that don't make the play-in get 2 balls, but the play-in teams are going to get 1 to 2 balls also. So what's the point? It's real stupid. Really dumb. But this is the kind of behavior that I think the people don't understand. And from a business layout, I think the damaging part is that no one seems to care. That's what's dangerous here. No one seems to care nor understand what it is that's going on here. Let me tell you something. Here's what's at play. And this is how stupid it is. This is the state of the NBA. Right? 4.5 million average, highest since 1997. Numbers are falsified. They're basing it off of fake data. You see, the correct data would have told them that even though these new rules for change and everything else in their systems, and that teams can't, pick number one in their system, number one back to, let's say, back years in the top five and 3 consecutive years. Number three is the only rule that matters. People are not watching the Knicks. Sorry to tell you that. you guys have the worst viewership out of any team. They're putting the Pat McAfee show. That this whole thing you're seeing right here is because the New York Knicks is not playing. There's y'all series is over, so they moved Pat McAfee there because hell, it does about the same amount of views. So let's stick that there. But yeah, it's on a streaming app. So what's happening is people will gloss over it and click on it and might click off of it. They consider that a view. So where you normally would have, like, let's say people want to watch it on a television, most people are watching it on phones. So if I'm on my phone, right, and I click and I'm watching the game, and I go to Instagram on something and I click off of it and I go back to the game, you know what? That's 2 views. Same person. That's 2 views. I clicked on it. I'm watching the game again. Oh, I got a call. Now I'm on the phone. Now I go back to the game. That's 3 views. That's 4 views. That's 5 views. You see what I'm saying? The numbers are being manipulated. So for the average viewers, when it comes to phones and the way the streaming network works, it's a gray area with the viewership, and it's manipulated by that system of streaming. Now, number three is what you need to focus on. The commissioner has the power to reduce the lottery odds of a team or modify their draft position as a penalty. The league can actively intervene if it looks like a team may be trying to tank. So let that know. The commissioner, David Stern Jr., who's a disgrace, Adam Silver, is going to have the power to reduce the lottery odds of a team or modify their draft position as a penalty. And this is based on a look. If so, it depends on if he thinks a team is tanking. So once again, let's be honest, NBA. You guys control the goddamn lottery anyway. So what is all of this for? Who cares about who gets how many balls in this ball? You think Penny Hardaway going over to the Orlando Magic with Shaq wasn't rigged? Wemby going to San Antonio wasn't rigged. LeBron going to Cleveland. We know what this is already. We know the lottery is full of shit and you guys run it. You pick who goes where, and we know it. So doing all of this means nothing. It comes down to number three. The commissioner has the power. That's all you need to see. Everything there is just bullshit to just make changes to keep people like, oh, they got new rules now. All of that is BS. Every single piece of it. I'm here to tell you the truth, not the lies, buddy. Truth, truth, truth. Tired of the manipulations, the trash. People are growing tired of it. Adam Silver is someone that don't understand what it's supposed to be and what it's supposed to look like. Oh, that wasn't even his biggest infraction of his announcement. I don't even address him as NBA commissioner. I just call him Adam Silver. But that's exactly who he is to me, Adam Silver. I know. You got all these YouTube channels who swear by it. Hey, Adam Silver and the NBA, and they get their promotion. I'm not one of the guys they like because I represent a basketball that they don't understand. My era is done. So for them, they just like, look, this is what the NBA is today. You just got to roll with it. And I'm like, bullshit. As long as I got breath in my lungs, I'm going to be speaking against this. If it's corruption, I'm not for it. I don't have to learn to love corruption. I love the game of basketball. That's what I'm about. You can keep all that nonsense. If it ain't real, I don't want it. Exactly. Sick of the corruption. All right, they got to get their game 7 because the Knicks wasn't bringing in any ratings against Cleveland. Total strategic move to move the New York Knicks in position. It's like you can see the corruption. They carried this team all the way up there. It's insulting to us when you try to make it look like this is good. But let's get to his next crime,
which is relegation. Yeah. And there is a notion, that possibly, there should be a penalty for performing poorly. I mean, in real relegation, you're actually out of the major league. Here, if you're the worst performing team in the NBA, you still get your same economic share of national and global television revenue. You still get your same share of national and global merchandising revenue. And I think at the end of the day, you want the greatest incentive to be successful. So those teams still have very good chances to get a top draft pick. But I'll just also add, that's not the only way to build a team. Like, it may put more of an emphasis on scouting. I mean, I think about from when I got involved in the league in the early 90s till today, just by way of example.
92.
When I got to the league in 1992, like roughly 5% of the players in this league were from outside the United States. And very few of those players were the best players in the league. Look to where we are now. Two of the players I just mentioned, the leaders on both OKC and San Antonio, were born outside the United States. We're now at a point where 30% of our players are from outside the United States. So you have much larger pool of players. Rosters are much deeper than where they used to be. You have, players coming from the second round. Jalen Brunson, our leader here in New York, was a second round pick. and then he was picked up as a free agent from Dallas. So like talent is everywhere in this league. So I think it requires maybe a fresh.
Yeah, you're making him a star. He is a free agent player that came over and was a second round pick. He still is a second round pick. You are making him a superstar because you have nothing in New York. You don't have any stars in New York. You have garbage pail kids. You have trash. And now I have to listen to Flea talking about the Knicks are playing the best basketball of any team in these three. I'm like, because San Antonio and OKC are playing a defensive game and they're not in 30-point blowout games. It's insulting to the general public to let anyone believe that the Knicks are capable of beating teams by 20 and 30 points and 40 points. It's ridiculous. It's insulting to me and anybody else that watch basketball. If you love this game, you should be outraged. Outraged at what they're trying to pull over and push over on you.
Mindset. Not to say that top draft picks aren't important. I know the analytics people are listening to me right now and saying, but of course there's a strong correlation between top draft picks. I'm not denying that. I'm just saying we have to fix incentives so teams aren't out there with an incentive to be bad. It's the number one issue for our fans right now. It's nobody wants to see that. It completely obviously goes away once we get to the playoffs, but we just got to fix that problem.
I love that. This definitely is keeping you up at night to hear that answer right there. Okay. How about the flopping? Flopping. Big conversation, Mr. Commissioner.
So, yeah, it's been a conversation. I would only say that there's a difference between selling a call, exaggeration, and a true flop, which is where you're actually fooling the referee. I think sometimes even as I sit in the stands at games, players may be falling down, players may be reacting to a call, but then to me, if they're not fooling the referees, it's like, okay, that's like the players are taught to sell calls these days. I mean, can officiating get bad? Can officiating get better? Of course. We're always working on that. Can officials get fooled occasionally? We're always looking at that as well. But the officiating is incredible. I will also add one other piece to it because I know there's always controversy around certain calls. There's one you were talking about on your show earlier today. And I think in terms of replay, I think we're going to get to the point fairly quickly where, for example, out of bounds, the very play that you were talking about.
Chet Holmgren's foot, it's big deal.
Yeah. And I think where, just like, you're a tennis fan and they have what they call Hawkeye, and it's like the animation, and you quickly see, where the line was and the oohs and ahs of the crowd, it touched the line or it was out of bounds. We're going to move to a system like that where that whole category of calls will be automatic, where, it's going to be, Laker ball, Nick ball, whatever it is, Thunder ball, those calls will be done by an AI automated system with cameras lined around the court. And it'll take all of those so-called objective calls out of the hands of the referees. It'll be instantaneous. It'll be automatic. Just play on, let's go, Spurs inbound, and you'll move on. You won't have to deal with challenges on those calls, but it will also now allow the officials on the more difficult subjective calls to give their full attention to those where, because there's often contact on every play. It doesn't mean there's a foul, and they're trying to measure sort of whether that contact is impeding the player, how hard that contact is. It's something that can't just be done on camera. They're actually feeling the contact because they're there on the floor with the players. So anyway, I think there is a technology will really be helpful here.
Okay, so it sounds like what you're talking about.
This is where we have a problem. Once again, Adam Silver Slipper is fixing something that isn't broken. You want to take calls out of the hands of the referee and let an AI computer tell you what's what. This isn't tennis. This is the problem with Adam Silver. This is why he brought in this damn league, the in-season tournament, which has been a disaster. Why? Because, they have soccer overseas and they have these tournaments every year. And these tournaments, all in these smaller tournaments that happen inside of their season. Do you know why? Because there's so many teams, Adam. There's so many teams in soccer. So they all have different tournaments so that their city can win something, because they're not going to be able to vie for a major championship. This is crazy. Now you're watching tennis and you see the way they got the ball when it comes to the line, and it can tell if it's out or if it's in. How is AI technology going to tell you who the ball is out on? That's different. The AI technology ain't going to tell you that. The replay is going to tell you that. So you're going to have to go to replay anyway. So how is the AI is going to detect who the ball went out on? Really? And it's just going to make that decision, and it's not in the hands of the referee. So we're just going to have a possession arrow? Is that what you're saying now? This dude is a complete moron. He should be fired immediately. I would fire his ass the first thing tomorrow. You should be fired for even bringing that to the forefront. That's not the problem. That's going to create a newer problem. Everything is about business and making more money, and this is going to make the game go faster, and you're going to create a whole new problem. Now, flopping. Easy fix, dumbass. All you need to say is hey, it's at the discretion of the referee. If the referee just don't call it, there's no problem. But if the referees are calling it, it's what the league wants. And why is this big call out for flopping or by all of these little pundits that make their little NBA channels or whatever? All of them are crying out foul about flopping. You see that? Y'all notice that? All of these fools are calling out flopping all of a sudden. Where was this call out for flopping when LeBron James, Austin Reeves, and Luka Doncic were all leading in free throw attempts? Luka flops all the time. LeBron, grandfather of the flopping. And Austin Reeves is just, for some reason, he's getting more free throw attempts than Kobe Bryant ever got. So when I said Adam Silver should be fired, it was based on the fact of I think he should be fired. Based on his performance, based on everything he's done, I think this man needs to be fired before he damages the league any further than he's already doing. They're taking the vote tomorrow, which means all of this will be in effect tomorrow. Why they even fake like they're having this discussion? It's already in play, or you wouldn't even been out here bringing it up. Right. It kills me. Like all these NBA channels, they're all LeBron fans, the majority of them. All these people that run with the NBA, they're all LeBron fans. Then on top of it, not only are they LeBron fans, they're Laker fans all of a sudden. Let's see how much of the Laker fans they are when LeBron's gone. Because, make no mistake about it, he's gone from LA. Especially talking about they're going to have to explain to me why I'm not getting a max contract. That need to be explained, bum. You up out of there. None of these people think straight. Oh, they're going to fix flopping. They're not fixing any flopping because selling calls is what they are trained to do. The man just told you. They're told to sell calls. So if their job is to sell calls, what are they going to do with you? What are they teaching you to do? Flop. Everything under the scope. It's straight madness to believe anything other than. That's why I say it with such vigor, is because I understand it. Most people don't get the gist of what somebody else might think. They're always thinking about themselves. That's what's important. How they feel about something. It's never about the collective group. It's always about them, how they emotionally feel, and how something is affecting them rather than it is everybody else. Oh no, this dude is so revved up about Jalen Brunson and the New York Knicks. He's in Midtown right now when he was doing this. He's right there in downtown area, mic'd up to get out there. So instead of the game, we got a special Pat McAfee on late at night to interview Adam Silver because hell, they weren't getting enough viewership on that game anyway. Nobody was really caring besides people in New York and Cleveland. And that was it. There was no real interest in the game from the casuals who they're trying to sell the game to. So they just got the East done in 4 games instead of spending all the money, sending the camera crews, setting up, we're getting everybody in hotels. It's like, look, we're wasting money on this series. The outside casual people just don't care. But because your butt hurt, the Pistons are not doing what you want them to do as a team because the owner of the team wants to do what's best for the team in his opinion, not yours. Oh, we're going to teach you guys a lesson. You're going to take the Coach of the Year award away from JB Bickerstaff. Again. What are we doing here? There's a thin line between fouls and flops. No, the problem that everybody don't seem to see that's on the surface, that's like a growing conundrum for all of us, that when we see it, we like go insane, is the fact that nothing's being done. Everybody act like it's business as usual when it comes to this. That's where it gets crazy for me. I said, this is nuts. Because we know that nobody else in their right mind would ever tolerate such toxicity. There's so much dishonesty into the game now. It's like it's not even fair or fun. Like today, would you think today was a good game to watch? I mean it in all sincerity. I'm being very serious. Do you think today was a good game to watch? Like when you watch the game, you'll say, hey, that was a good game. No, it wasn't even good at halftime. When it was a like 6, 7 point lead at halftime, you already knew the way the game was being played, how it was going to go. All of a sudden, Dort couldn't hit a three. All of a sudden, everybody on OKC just got cold. Shots rimming out. It was just disgusting. The game is becoming a worse version of WWE. Okay, this is barnyard wrestling. Okay, we're taking role players and making them into superstars. This is going down a very dangerous road for the NBA. Because when you start manipulating people you want to be stars, you're ruining the foundation of what this league is. And once you start getting in the way and trying to dictate what is talent and what isn't, who is great and who isn't great, and taking mediocre sub-level guys and bringing them up to the top, it's just like a wrestling organization, like Vince McMahon or something taking, the Brooklyn Brawler and making him a contender. It's like, what are we doing here? The Brooklyn Brawler should not be fighting for the heavyweight championship of WWE. That's just that should never happen. That's how I look at Brunson. This dude said Derek Jeter and compared Derek Jeter to Jalen Brunson. Derek Jeter should beat the living snot out of Adam Silver just for that terrible analogy. Well, you got to understand. when we had a real commissioner in David Stern, people hated David Stern, but you was gonna respect him. You was gonna do what he said do. He would cuss you out in that office. He would say every F word in the book. He would grab you by your arm and he'd say, well, what the F? I don't care what the union say. You're gone. He will throw your ass out the league. He'll make up his own fine for you. Oh, we ain't paying you enough money? No, I can't eat off this. You can't? Okay, you out the league. You go to the press and said, your kid, listen, you trying to feed your family and you arguing about $40 million? David Stern was going to be who he was. Still to this day, he had a lot of enemies. They ain't like him. And simply put, he didn't care about being liked. He liked to be feared. He liked to be respected. He liked to be heard. He liked to be understood. David Stern is someone that you don't want to meet in a dark alley. Not only that, he's the guy you don't want to meet, period. Adam Silver, the players run right over his ass. And they see him, they see food. They run over there. Adam, man, come on, man. What's going on, man? This is what's going on, man. Why can't we have rest? Why we got to practice all the time, Adam? Adam Silver done gave y'all less practice. More rest. Y'all can't play more than 2 days, and y'all got to get a break. You got almost a week off plus for the All-Star weekend. More rest. And they want to compare themselves to players in the 90s. It's like, are you crazy? They played playoff games back-to-back days. They played on Saturdays and Sundays in the 80s. They don't know this day in between bullshit that y'all do now. They played every day, damn near. They played Saturday and Sundays, back-to-back games. Only game that was in between if it was a playoff. Like if they were switching from home. But if you got 2 games at the crib, oh, that's back-to-back nights. Well, see, that's the problem. Too many idiots in the room. And they let this idiot Adam Silver continuously just run his damn mouth.
So my final question, the future of the NBA, sounds like technology is going to be a big piece of that, especially because in arenas, and certainly with you guys owning the arenas, should be able to get the lines pretty clear. I think people will be appreciative if that's very efficient. It feels like technology is going to get to a point where that will be easy, especially with what we've seen in baseball as well. You talk about tennis. Baseball initiated the ABS.
Now, he's talking about baseball and what they're doing with the ABS. Oh, baseball's going to bring in the ABS with what they're doing. I just call that some more Adam Silver bullshit. And here they are trying to tell about him. He became the 5th commissioner in NBA history in 2014. Yes, they gave you a job you didn't deserve. He helped negotiate one of the richest media deals in sports history, a deal for 11 years, $76 billion. Zero teams are valued at $5 billion when he became commissioner. There are now 15 teams valued at $5 billion. He has helped global growth, including the creation of the Basketball Africa League. Now, 30% of the NBA players are born outside of the USA, including the past 7 most valuable players. Why did they want to highlight that? Like that's an accomplishment. We're up to 30% of the players in the NBA are born outside. And why do we have a league for basketball and African leagues? So that we can put the Negroes over there. They can play in NBA Africa so we can keep this game nice and white. Because if you took them African boys and played them up against these Euro boys, they will wipe the floor with them. So when South Sudan became a team, you saw how they played with everybody else. They would walk through all of them. And now you see why they didn't want them to play in their Euro League. My thing is, what's there to like? You know, but to each his own. You like this clown? That's on you.
System, which has actually become a
Right.
part entertainment as they're showcasing the replay, which could happen with the NBA. What does the future look like for you, though, with the association? How kind of far along do you look into that?
Well, so on the technology front, so we talked about where it can improve the pace of the game with the calls, the accuracy, but probably most importantly, it can improve the fan experience. And I think that's where, we're call it, the personalization, hyper personalization of games, where now, I think of sort of what ESPN, your network's doing with the Manning cast, but you can do that times whatever, where people are going to have the ability, all right, I kind of analogize it a little bit to, you go to a game, you're at a Thunder game, there's 18,000 fans there, but in some ways there's 18,000 different experiences. You're talking to the person next to you, you may be texting at some point, you may be looking at somebody who's sitting on the bench or somebody in the stands, or you may be looking at a particular player on the floor, even when that player doesn't have the ball, all those different opportunities. I think in the world of hyper-personalization through streaming, you're watching that game, but there may be a particular aspect you want to focus on. You may be a hardcore fan and what you want to hear is sort of expert X's and O's, like explaining what defense, offense are being run. You may be a casual fan who doesn't really watch the NBA all season long. So I want to understand why that's a foul, or I want to understand what the rules are. Or, I'm like, I want to understand more about the background of these players. All right, where's Victor Wembanyama from? Like, where in France is he from? Like, what's his life about? Where did he come from before he got drafted by the San Antonio Spurs? So I think there's going to be an opportunity to make the fan experience much better through all these different forms of streaming media, where people are going to, they want to buy product during the game, all kinds of other opportunities. You've talked about, doing some sort of alt telecast, like, all right, I want to watch the game, but I want to be entertained by Pat and his crew during the game instead of I love Mike Breen, but it's like, that's like, I don't want to hear a standard X's and O broadcast. I want to instead be entertained in a different way. I want it to be like I'm sitting at a game with Pat and watching it with him, just hearing his ongoing commentary throughout it. So I think we're about to see a whole new generation of technology that's going to really enhance the fan experience. And as great as all the different sports you're talking to tonight, all of us commissioners are striving to do the same things, make it even that much better of an experience for our fans.
We appreciate you doing that all. And as you
Now, I'm quite sure some of you may agree with Mr. Silver. I do not. I think Adam Silver is the worst thing. I think he should have resigned 2 years ago, if not longer. I think he's inept at the job. He let LeBron James run amok and just kept sticking him back in the NBA Finals. It's disgusting. And what he's done to this league is just ridiculous. And if he starts going with this AI crap, it's going to make the game worse and just more problematic. And all of these changes, and now, okay, the commissioner gets final say of the lottery draft. Why? Y'all control the damn lottery anyway, so it doesn't matter. So now you're just telling people like, oh, now it's official. We got we got the commissioner gets to pick. Now it's just gonna be explained to everybody. So crazy. Yeah, I know. It's just that when you get to this point, you get frustrated. I mean, you're just ultimately frustrated because it don't make any sense. And if you're somebody who genuinely love the game, AI technology gonna tell you if the ball went out on somebody or not. Really? That's what we doing? Oh, the ball went out that way. It's ridiculous. Oh, the AI said it went off him. The moment that AI get it wrong one time, and the referee can't go against the AI, that's it. Now they need to explain how that AI technology is going to work and determine whose ball is it, who the ball went out on, and all that stuff. How is it? Where is this technology coming from? Oh, he thinks it'll be an exciting series, no matter who wins in the West and the East. I just call it a mockery of the game we love. That's exactly what this whole nonsense is all about. Hmm. Yeah, I know. Tell me about it. Yeah. So why should we be concerned about the lottery? You control it, Adam Silver. Why should we be concerned about any of this stuff when you control it? So again, baffled. All of these distinctions are for naught because you control it. So let that sink in, y'all. It's your boy Carcino. I am out.
I support my brother Solomon Hill, baby. He was just out there playing defense. It ain't his fault LeBron can't move his feet.